Climate change. Probably most of you, if not all, had already heard this term. But how many of you really understand what it is? Do you really know what climate change is? Climate change is a change in the usual weather found in a place. This could be a change in how much rain a place usually gets in a year, or it could be a change in a place's usual temperature for a month or season. Climate change is also a change in Earth's climate. This could be a change in Earth's usual temperature, or it could be a change in where rain and snow usually fall on Earth. Weather can change in just a few hours. Climate takes hundreds or even millions of years to change. Some people say that climate change is a hoax, but science says otherwise. Here are some evidences that climate change is already starting to happen on Earth. Global temperature rise. The planet's average surface temperature has risen about 2.12 degrees Fahrenheit since the late 19th century, a change driven largely by increased carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere and other human activities. Warming ocean. The ocean has absorbed much of the increased heat, with the top 100 meters of ocean showing warming of more than zero point 0.6 degrees Fahrenheit since 1969. Shrinking ice sheets. The Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets have decreased in mass. Data from NASA's Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment show Greenland lost an average of 279 billion tons of ice per year between 1993 and 2019, while Antarctica lost about 148 billion tons of ice per year. Glacial retreat. Glaciers are retreating almost everywhere around the world, including the Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, Alaska, and Africa. Decreased snow cover. Satellite observations reveal that the amount of spring snow cover in the northern hemisphere has decreased over the past 5 decades, and the snow is melting earlier. Sea level rise. Global sea level rose about 8 inches in the last century. The rate in the last 2 decades, however, is nearly double than of the last century and accelerating slightly every year. Declining Arctic sea ice. Both the extent and thickness of Arctic sea ice has declined rapidly over the last several decades. Ocean acidification. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the acidity of surface ocean waters has increased by about 30%. This increase is a result of humans emitting more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and hence more being absorbed into the ocean. The ocean has absorbed between 20 and 30% of total anthropogenic carbon dioxide emissions in recent decades. You may ask, is that all? Is that all climate change can do? The answer is a big no. Climate change can do far more devastating effects and changes to our lives and Earth itself. Here's Here are some future effects of climate change if we will not be able to stop it. Change will continue through this century and beyond. Global climate is projected to continue to change over this century and beyond. The magnitude of climate change beyond the next few decades depends primarily on the amount of heat-trapping gases emitted globally and how sensitive the Earth's climate is to those emissions. Temperatures will continue to rise, frost-free season and growing season will lengthen, changes in precipitation patterns, more droughts and heat waves. Hurricanes will become stronger and more intense. Sea level will rise 1 to 8 feet by 2100. It is projected to rise another 1 to 8 feet by 2100. This is the result of added water from melting land ice and the expansion of seawater as it warms. In the next several decades, storm surges and high tides could combine with sea level rise and land subsidence to further increase flooding in many regions. Sea level rise will continue past 2100 because the oceans take a very long time to respond to warmer conditions at the Earth's surface. Ocean waters will therefore continue to warm and sea level will continue to rise for many centuries at rates equal to or higher than those of the current century. Arctic likely to become ice free. The Arctic Ocean is expected to become essentially ice free in summer before mid century. If you have noticed, most of these effects are brought by humans. If we are the culprit, then what can we do to stop these terrifying effects? First, make your commute green. Millions of people drive to work every day. It is simply unavoidable in our modern day society. However, the downside to this is that millions of cars emit greenhouse gases that destroy our atmosphere. Vehicles emissions are a close second when it comes to the top causes of climate change. There are always other options that you can utilize to make your commute to work eco-friendly. For starters, taking public transportation to work is a great way to cut out emissions. Riding your bike to work is also incredibly helpful to the environment. It is a great method to get exercise. Second, be more conservative with energy usage. Becoming more energy efficient is a great way to prevent pollution. It causes the power plants to expand less energy than can lead to the production of greenhouse gases. This means that you should do what you can to cut down on energy usage in your household. Make sure to turn off lights and unplug devices that you are not using anymore when you are done with them. Replace your light bulbs with energy efficient light bulbs to help you save electricity too. Third, get active and vote. One of the best ways to improve climate change is to help those who will fight against it get into office. This means voting for legislation and politicians that aid against the detrimental effects of climate change. Many corporations have politicians on their payroll and use them to lobby against legislation that would require more regulations against them. Voting the right people into office will help pass legislation that allows us to fight against these corporations that are mainly to blame for climate change. Fourth, recycle. Manufacturing plants emit a large number of greenhouse gases per year. It is unavoidable in the production of goods that we use on a regular basis. However, a cleaner alternative would be to invest in recycling. Recycling is a cost effective and eco friendly process that eliminates waste and doesn't emit greenhouse gases into the environment. Be sure to collect your discarded paper, glass, plastic, and electronics to your local recycling center. The professionals will take these items to a processing plant where they will be remade into other recyclable materials again. Fifth, educate yourself and others. The importance of educating others about climate change cannot be overstated in our modern society. There are many platforms for us to utilize that can allow us to spread our message easily. Whether you use word of mouth or social media, there are always ways to educate others on what climate change is doing to our planet. You can help protect the planet by educating others about the dangers of climate change and how to act against it. 6. Encourage the use of renewable energies. Focusing your efforts to spread awareness about renewable energy is the best way to create a positive impact into your community. By informing others about how renewable energy is better than utilizing fossil fuels, you will sway others into investing in the idea. The facts have been laid out. It is now up to you to take actions. Your actions are starting today will determine not only your future, but for the generations to come. Thank you.